Hello, welcome to another edition of Transparency in Government. As you are hopefully aware by now, we do this show once a month, and this is July 2015, just in case we get shown later in another decade. And we always have our town manager, Kevin Smith, with us, and Kevin updates us on what's going on around town. And we're also prepared to answer whatever questions you might give to us. So keep the questions coming in. We appreciate that involvement on your part. And remember, this is for you. This show's all for you. So Kevin, happy July.
Dottie, thanks for having me back in this month, and thank you for not having a green screen as our background today.
Oh, like something with the Hawaiian beaches?
Well, you'd be
or
talking to a floating head.
Oh, that, you got your green
realized,
shirt
yes.
on. Now I
So,
understand the issue.
yes.
Okay.
So thank you for the dark background.
You're welcome. That would have been interesting.
Certainly would have.
So what is going on around town?
There's a lot going on
let's
around town.
Let's start with something fun.
Sure.
Okay, Old Home Day.
Old Home Day. Yeah, so it's coming fast upon us
Mm-hmm.
here. It's hard to believe that summer's halfway over at this point.
Well, we kept the kids in school so long, it really
It's
seems like a
true,
short
yeah.
summer.
But Old Home Day celebration is coming up in the middle of August.
Mm-hmm.
It's the week of August 11th through the 15th.
Okay. Did you realize
and
Old Home Day used to be a day?
I
Yeah.
remember when it was just one day. Growing up here, it was only
It was only one day. Yep.
Even
Yep.
the fireworks were on the same
day.
as
Yeah,
the
night, yeah.
the same night as
Yep.
the celebration. But it's a multi-day event, as you know, and you have the senior night with
That
the
kicks it
cookout.
off.
That kicks it off.
Yeah, and the Lions do the cookout, don't they,
do.
for that?
Yep.
Mhm.
And then we have Kids Night, which is on the Thursday night.
Yeah.
And then the fireworks will be on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And then on Saturday is the annual parade, and where all the local vendors are,
Right.
and the
Performers.
performers, and that goes on all day long. So it's
Now, what
that'll be on
about
the 15th.
Friday night? Is there a competition between the fire department
There
and the
is.
police
There's
department?
the Fire and Police annual softball game
yeah.
that'll be taking place on the Friday evening as
Any
well.
wagers going on out there that you've heard of?
Well, I mean, I told the fire department after their lackluster performance last year
Oh,
that they
geez.
really needed to step up their game and try to give police a run for their money. So
We'll see what happens.
We'll see.
We'll
you
see what
know.
happens.
But it's
That's-
always a fun time.
It
all
is,
all
yeah.
of the days,
Yeah.
and hopefully we'll have great weather. And really looking forward to it. I suspect
Now-
there may be a number of presidential candidates
You think?
in the parades this year. Could be a long parade.
Yeah, especially on the Republican side.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, what are
they
there,
could make the parade.
47 candidates now or
I
something
have
like that?
no
Ron?
idea. There's like 15 nationally that we know of, and there's usually at least another 10 or 20
All right.
in New Hampshire that we hadn't heard of yet. But yeah,
So-
do they still do the chili at the Friday night game?
I don't know if they do or
Yeah,
not.
one of the former, he was a selectman. I don't think he was ever a town councilor.
Yeah.
Vecchione, I can't think of his first
Yeah,
name.
Dan.
Dan, thank you. Dan Vecchione used to
Yep.
make big batch of chili.
Chili.
So,
Huh, interesting.
yep. So,
I'm
okay,
not
that
sure
sounds
if they
like
still
fun.
do the chili or not, but it is a good time for anyone that wants to go out and watch it.
Okay.
It's really good. Yeah.
And sounds pretty darn busy.
What's that?
It sounds pretty busy.
Well, it is. There's a lot of people that make it happen.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work that goes into
Yeah,
it.
and
They
that committee works all year.
They do. I was going to say
Yeah.
they start planning a year in advance. So it should be a really fun time, though. We're really looking
Absolutely.
forward to it.
And watch your newspaper because they'll put a schedule in there.
They will.
Of everything that's happening
Everything,
each day.
all the
So
events. Yep.
you'll need that to stay on track.
That's right.
So what else are we doing here?
Well, what do you want to go into first?
Let's talk about. Let's
I was going to say we can talk about the Kinder Morgan pipeline,
Yeah.
give an update on that. That
That's good.
seems to be a hot topic on many
It
people's
still is,
minds.
yeah.
So we have, for anyone that's interested in finding out more information, wants to look at detailed maps, any public hearings coming up.
Right.
We have on our planning page on the website, londonderrynh.org, you go to the planning department, and there's a link there to all the Kinder Morgan documents. So people
Okay.
can go right on there, look up all the documents. We also have created a Facebook page for people to ask
Comment and
questions and
question.
comments that we send along to Kinder Morgan.
okay.
So if you can't find, it's the Londonderry Kinder Morgan Facebook page. If you can't find it, call my assistant Kirby Wade, and she can let you know where that is.
Yeah.
Also, she can sign you up for an email list to get all the latest updates on the pipeline.
Oh, that's a great idea for the people that are really,
Yeah.
have a lot of concerns.
And currently what's happening right now is they're setting up meetings for, they're called scoping meetings, and they're more or less public hearings
Okay.
that they hold all around the state. And those, the dates and times, locations of those meetings are on the web page that people can see where they
Okay.
are. There aren't any in Londonderry, but there's some
Around.
in this area. So people who are interested in it should go on that page to
Okay.
look to see when they are.
Okay.
And of course, again, if anyone has any questions or concerns about the pipeline, let us know. We want to keep the lines of communication very much open between the residents in town and what Kinder Morgan is proposing. I should say that nothing has been, there's a lot of
Finally
ifs right
decided,
now.
yeah.
Nothing's been finalized. Kinder Morgan hasn't received their federal and state approvals to go forward with the pipeline. The route of the pipeline hasn't been determined yet either. In my most recent conversations with a representative from Kinder Morgan, they said they're going to try to do their best to locate the entirety of the pipeline in Londonderry in the PSNH Eversource right of way. Rather
That's-
than
yeah.
having to affect
Disturb homeowners
property
and,
owners.
yeah.
So,
Okay.
so again, we just want to keep the lines of communication open on it. So people should
Now,
feel free to
with-
contact my office.
With the laying of a pipeline, does that require any kind of explosives
Explosives
to
to
dig the trench to
dig
put?
it in.
Yeah.
I suppose if there were areas where ledge was involved, they may have to do some blasting. But to be honest, I'm not sure, Dottie, if
Okay.
any would be involved in
Okay.
where they're. I mean, they're doing all the survey work now.
Yeah.
And that's part of that is figuring out what's the the topography and
Right.
what are they dealing with.
The,
where they're
the
looking to
reason
do
that
it.
I brought that up is because I know in the past when they were laying sewer lines or water lines or something like that, there was almost always some places where they needed to go ahead and blast through some ledge or whatever. And many, many years ago when that was happening, I know people were not aware of this, and I think it's still relevant,
Yep.
that if blasting is going to come near your land,
Yeah.
that if you do a pre-assessment, just in case that blasting does create a crack in a foundation or something like that. So I don't want to give people something else to worry about, but if they're proactive,
Right.
that should be
Absolutely.
good. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Nope,
Kinder Morgan, do you have dynamite? That would be my
Yeah,
question.
Right. Well, and again, those are all, the
Still
questions
out
are out
there,
there.
yeah.
Ask us, and I'm sure Kinder Morgan at this point would say, well, we don't know what the actual route's gonna be yet, so we
Right.
don't know if we're gonna have to do
Yeah.
any kind of blasting or not.
Yeah. But if
So.
they do.
Yeah.
Okay. So that sounds,
So that's,
Moving
and
forward.
again, yep, people wanna stay up to date on that, just go to the webpage and they can see the documents on that.
I think it's great that you're putting everything up there.
Well,
So people can really get their information firsthand.
absolutely. We try to make as much, it's called transparency in government,
It
right?
is.
So we try
That's
to
the
make
point.
as much of it as
Yep.
available as possible and to have as much information on there as possible so that no one's kept in the dark and everybody knows what's going on.
Yeah, and I know that's appreciated.
Yeah.
Um,
If you want, I'll talk about a lot of the construction that's
I
going
was-
on around
there's so
town.
much,
I
yeah.
get, not a week goes by when someone doesn't ask me, what's going on here, what's going on there? Because there's a lot of it right
There
now if
is,
you drive
yeah.
around town.
Yeah.
So let's start on Mammoth Road.
Okay, let's
right.
start there.
Fieldstone Drive, that's Mountain Home Estates.
Yes.
There's two projects, one going on opposite Fieldstone, and
Okay.
then one happening just north of it.
Okay.
The site just north of it, that's a subdivision of about, I want to say 27 to 30 homes, all single-family homes. It's higher density. The developer got a variance so that the lots aren't going to be quite an acre. I think some of them are half-acre lots.
Okay.
But that's what's going on there is this new neighborhood subdivision of homes there.
Do you know what the range and price is going to be on those homes?
I don't know. I'm not
No idea.
sure. I expect that they'll probably be comparable to kind of the Lord and Commons development going on in the north end of town up
Okay.
by Auburn Road in that area.
Yeah.
There's a new Mill Pond is up there as well. So I expect they'll be in that range. So that's what's happening there.
Okay.
Across the street from that, from Mountain Home Estates, is more 55 plus homes that are being built.
Yes.
That were started originally down Trail Haven, and there were only 3 built at the time.
Yeah.
So there's some more that are going to be built in that area as well. They may have some single family that aren't age restricted. But if anyone is interested in knowing exactly the kind of homes that are going in there, they can call the planning department. And
Okay.
the planning department will be able to let them know that. The townhomes, which are also right near Trail Haven Drive, on that same side of the road, that's the workforce housing, NeighborWorks workforce housing homes. Those are just about at completion. I think they'll have their certificate of occupancy next week. And so people should be moving into those fairly
quickly.
soon.
Yeah.
As those are nearing completion. A lot of talk about the corner lot behind the mobile station at the intersection of Mammoth Road and 28. That's actually self-storage.
Oh, okay.
Self-storage facility that'll be going in there. They got approval a couple of months ago from the planning board.
Okay.
So that's what's happening there, where people see the excavators out and
Well, I think they cleared that lot
did.
like a decade ago or more.
Yeah.
And just been sitting waiting for something to happen.
right.
So.
Yeah. So
yeah.
that's what's happening there. And then out on 102, across the street from Mr. Steer, next to Cafe Teresa, that area there, Avandi's. There's a combination of elderly apartments that are going up there. There's 3 separate buildings that you can see being built, and then right in front of that is an assisted living facility that's being built as well. So that land sat dormant for a long time.
Long time. Yeah.
And now it's being built.
Yeah.
And pretty soon, the Gulf Station on 102 is going to be a Town Fair Tire location. That got approval from the planning board. So people will see that changing over pretty soon as well. And I believe the new Global gas station is open
in front of
for
Hannaford?
business now,
Yeah.
in front of Hannaford. It's open. It's got a Dunks inside of it. I believe that's our 7th Dunkin' Donuts in town.
I'm telling you.
Unless you count the one in the airport, which is in Londonderry. Then it's the 8th Dunkin' Donuts
Okay.
in town.
I'm glad somebody's keeping count on them.
Cannot have enough Dunkin' Donuts.
Not in New
clearly.
England.
No. Yeah. So
Well,
I
we
don't
don't-
know if we have as many per capita of any town, but we've got to be close to it.
Yeah, you can't go down a single street without running into a Dunkin' Donuts somewhere.
exactly.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So you never have to turn a corner, get off the highway, nothing. It's right
right.
there in front of you.
Yep.
So,
So a lot
Well,
of
now-
construction, a lot going
Yeah.
on. And Pettingill Road will be open by the end of the summer.
okay.
So I suspect sometime in August probably that road will be opened up and people will be able
People
to
start, yeah.
drive right through it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So speaking of roads
Yes.
and construction, there's things dug up and repaved all over the place.
Yeah. Well, this winter was
It
was a difficult winter. And no more was it difficult than maybe on Gilcrest Road, which was in pretty bad condition
Yeah.
after the snow melted, and so felt that was a high priority.
Well, it's
so
heavily traveled.
It is heavily traveled, and recently got that paved and did a great job
Yeah.
paving it over. Litchfield Road, construction will begin on that pretty soon, and there's a couple of areas where the construction from last summer wasn't completed because we were waiting for the telephone poles to be moved. And if you may remember, Fairpoint was on strike,
Yes, I do
so
remember
there was nobody to
that.
move the telephone
Yeah.
poles. Well, now they're working again, so
That's
we'll
good.
get the poles moved, and finally we'll complete the rest of the area of Litchfield Road that was being worked on. And it's our public works director Janos does a great job
He
of
does.
stretching a dollar, and
Yeah, I think a lot of times people don't understand that there's a difference also between putting down one more layer of,
Right.
of fixer-up.
yeah, you can only do
pavement.
that so much.
Yeah, and then there has to be a time when you have to dig it up and redo it
Right.
completely. And
There's
he
the-
is he's very good, like you said, at stretching a dollar and making sure that,
Right.
it goes as far as it can. Because
Yeah.
he probably could use 3 times what he gets.
Well, he could, and that's
in his budget.
and
so.
that's money well spent. Anytime you're allocating funds towards road reconstruction, you want to make sure your roads are in good shape.
Absolutely.
In town, and
Yeah.
we hear it from our vendors who come in all the time that travel all over the state that Londonderry's roads are in much better condition than a lot of other communities' roads are.
And that's not because we spend more money.
No, it's not.
No.
It
And
really
then we
isn't.
also
It's
have
just-
more miles of road
Right.
than
Yeah.
practically any other.
Yeah,
At one
we
time it
certainly
was
do.
any other. I don't know now.
Yeah.
But
Quite a bit.
Yeah, quite a few miles of road. It's a challenge.
Yeah, it
to
is.
keep those in shape.
It certainly is.
So, okay, what else we have on our list here? Because I know we've got a number of other things that we wanted to talk
Yes.
about today. So we talked about Kinder, we talked about pipeline. Oh, I know. We're just talking about the trip that
Yeah.
you won to North Carolina.
Yeah. Well, I was
Tell
just
me
say
about
we won
that.
it.
Okay.
So a couple of weeks ago, myself, 2 of the planning board members, Rick
Yeah.
Brito and Gianni Verani, and another town staff member, Drew Karen, from the cable studio here.
With a
who-
camera on his shoulder, maybe?
with a camera on his
Yeah.
shoulder to go and
Good,
document
good.
it. We went down on a 1-day trip down to North Carolina to
And I heard
visit-
you had luxury accommodations
Oh,
in the
wine, caviar, the whole
on the
9
plane,
yards.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, right. It was a 6-seater puddle jumper, in which it felt like you were taking your life into your own hands.
Yeah, and if you've never ridden in one, you don't know how bad that can be.
Oh, at one point I was questioning whether we were on a boat or an airplane because it was.
I think a butterfly going by gives you enough air turbulence
Yeah.
to send you flying.
Yeah, but we made it down safe and sound and made it back okay. But we went down there to see the development that really Woodmont's being modeled after.
Okay.
And what?
Because this is not the first time these people have done this.
No,
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not. Shook Kelly, who is the designer for Woodmont, the developers are different. The developers is Pillsbury Realty.
Right,
They're
yeah,
doing Woodmont,
yeah.
but the designers are the same. So the same designers that did Birkdale Village in North Carolina are doing the Woodmont Village here in Londonderry. This is it's the single largest development ever being built in the town. And it's going to change the face of Londonderry. It's going to, frankly, change the face of New Hampshire, because I can tell you, after having visited Birkdale, there is nothing in New Hampshire, probably New England,
Even close.
that is even close to what is going to be built.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Grand Canyon, that the pictures are pretty, but until you see the Grand Canyon,
Yeah.
it just doesn't, the pictures
You
don't
don't
do it
get
any
that,
justice. And the same was this, to go down and actually walk the streets, walk the community, see how everything flows, just gave a great perspective for what they're going to try to transfer up here. And
Right.
Birkdale is only built on 52 acres. Of course, Woodmont is 600. So it's even going to be much larger scale
Right.
than what is done there. That all being said, I can tell you that my takeaway from it was I think it's going to be an amazing asset for the town. And again, because it's unlike anything that any community
That's it, yeah.
has. And we're going to do a full presentation to the planning board at their August meeting. And
Okay.
Drew will be putting up the pictures that he took while he was down there. But it was really well designed, really well thought out, really well planned. And there's actually a similar type plan a mile down the road from there that was terribly planned. They just didn't do it. It was very linear. There was no walkability concept to it.
Okay.
And you could just tell it wasn't planned well at all. And so it didn't work.
Right.
Birkdale Village has worked for this community. And it's in the
How
community
long has it been there?
since 2000.
Okay.
What's amazing is that the community it went into, the name of the town is Huntersville. In 1990, the population of Huntersville was 3,000.
Oh boy.
It's 54,000 today.
Oh, good Lord.
So in 25 years, it's grown that much. Now, that's not going to happen in Londonderry because we have limits on how many dwellings that we're allowing in Woodmont Commons. The density is going to be less than what it is in Birkdale Village in North Carolina.
And it would phase in anyway, wouldn't it?
And it phases in,
Yeah.
right. But that, the whole concept of the downtown, the walking community, the accessory dwellings, the apartments on top of the commercial areas was just it's a foreign concept up here. But that's what people want. They want the ability, and it's young folks and it's retired folks,
right.
Who want to downsize, who want walkability, who don't want to have to drive the car everywhere.
Yeah.
They go, whether they're going to the pharmacy or the grocery store. And so, we met with the design team while we were down there, and they gave us a short presentation.
And you mentioned the mayor.
We met with the mayor of Huntersville as well.
Did he point out at anything that we need? She?
Yeah,
Oh,
Jill Swain.
my goodness.
She was absolutely delightful and a great ambassador to her community.
Okay.
She talked about what things she would do differently now.
Always good to know.
Yeah, which was very helpful, and but also what it's brought to the community as well. And it really is. It's kept the community current.
Okay.
And it's vibrant. It's kept people wanting to go into Huntersville.
Yeah.
Which I thought the other big takeaway for me from it was there'd been concern that Woodmont is going to replace the town common. That'll be the new downtown, and the Commonwealth. Nothing could be further from the truth, in my opinion, because the two areas are completely separate and distinct. Birkdale, which again is what Woodmont's being designed to, has a very commercial feel to it, and feels very present day.
So it's a downtown.
It's a downtown
versus a town center.
During a town, yeah,
okay.
completely different.
Okay.
And that was actually. I was happy about that because I don't think we'll lose any. We have a historic town center. It's a municipal center. It's not a commercial district.
No coffee kiosk on the town common.
So I mean, that's all. That's going to maintain. The tradition and the culture there will remain the same, even with Woodmont going in. It won't displace it, which I was happy about. So I think it was, as I said, it was to me, very enlightening, very helpful to go down there and actually see it, and to have a good sense of what's coming here, because we've more or less been asked to. We've seen the pictures, we've seen the videos, and have been asked to approve again what's going to be the largest development the town's ever had, but to actually go down
and see
do your due diligence, see it, gave it a whole different perspective. Yeah.
Now, how long was the trip? Sounds like you crammed a lot in.
Let's see. We flew down at 9 a.m. and we were flying home at 4 p.m.
Wow.
So we
You
literally
had your running shoes
literally
on when
got
you
down there,
Wow.
went into the village,
Okay.
and we're out of there in 3 hours. So, yeah,
Sounds good.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was very very beneficial.
And the planning board is the first or second one of
It's
the
going to be
month?
the second. I
second
believe it's
planning
the
board.
August 12th
Okay.
meeting.
All right.
Yeah.
So tune in, show up,
Yeah.
see for yourselves.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure that
Yeah, if anyone's got any questions too, feel free to call me, email me, and be happy to talk to folks about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds good. It's really
And-
so much going on.
And on that note, as far as the timing, because of course people are asking, well, so when is Woodmont going to start?
Yeah.
Their plans, there's basically 3 phases coming down the pike. You've got the redevelopment phase of the current plaza.
Yeah.
That's currently under design review at staff, and I think they're hoping to submit a formal application to the planning board in the very near future on
Okay.
that. The next phase will be the access road from Garden Lane all the way through to Pillsbury.
Okay.
Hopefully we'll be getting those plans next week to start design review on those and submitting that to the planning board this fall. And then the phase right after that, again, that we should see this year, is going to be the first phase of the new downtown being built up there. So things are starting to go quick.
They're hopping.
Yeah.
I've tried to figure out whether or not you're the one that's driving this, because it seems like all of these things have been happening since you got here.
Well, I
Or do you just have incredible timing?
I'm in the right place at the right
right time.
time, I think, Dottie. You know,
Yeah.
it's
Well, it is an exciting time.
it
It's
is.
good
It
to
is
have.
it's an exciting time, but I think there's been a culture shift too at Town Hall where you know, people know we're open for business.
Yes.
Whether it's a small business
Yeah,
owner, a
yeah.
developer,
Yeah.
we're going to work with you.
Yeah.
And we're not there to make your life difficult, but we want to work with you and you know, help bring your
That
vision
makes
to
us
life.
much more attractive for people to
Yeah,
relocate
it does.
here.
When they know
Yeah.
they're going to get a fair shot,
Yeah.
and we're not going to just put them through the ringer and try to, you know,
Drag it out until they
nickel
give
and
up.
dime them on everything. That means a lot to them.
Yeah, it
and,
does.
and word is out there that Londonderry's very friendly in that area.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's good. Friendly is always good.
yeah.
Okay, we're talking about roads and things before, and you mentioned Pettingill.
Yep.
Let's see, what else? We got
The Boot Scootin' Boogie.
Boot
I just
Scootin',
mentioned
yeah.
that. That's an event coming up July 25th. It's a Saturday. Millennium Running, which is owned by John Mortimer, the former runner here in Londonderry.
Yeah.
They're doing one of their big events here in town. It's a 5K road race that actually goes through the Kings and that area and
I
starts.
hope people don't get lost.
Yeah, well, there'll be directionals, but it starts out by the rec fields, goes out through the Kings, and you know, goes back, ends at the rec fields. But this has got a country theme to it.
Okay.
So in addition to everyone who signs up getting a cowboy hat to be able to run in if they want, there's going to be, at the end of the race, there's going to be a country concert.
Oh, cool.
Some acts from Nashville are coming up. They'll be
Really?
performing down on the rec fields. There'll
Yeah.
be a bonfire, a beer garden for the folks that ran in the race, of age, of
Is
course.
that how you're supposed to rehydrate?
Yeah, right. But it should be and anyone's welcome to go to the concert and
Yeah.
Should be a great community
Sounds
event.
fun.
Yeah.
Sounds
so that's
fun.
Saturday, July
Yeah.
25th.
Yeah, and we have John is responsible for bringing that back to Londonderry.
He
huh?
is, yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, John runs literally and figuratively, the Millennium Mile, which is every January here in town.
Yeah.
The one downhill mile.
And we both remember him from when he was a kid.
We do, yeah. Well, I graduated with him.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
still keep in touch with
Yeah.
him today. And he's done a great job for himself and the company that he started.
That's great.
Yeah, it is.
That's great. I
It
love to
is.
see that stuff coming back around
Right.
to support the community. Okay, so boot scooting, and let's see if I can read my own writing here. Oh, I know. I've mentioned this to you before. I hate having Channel 5 News on and hear them say New Hampshire, and if they say Londonderry, it just really... Tell us about the home invasion
Yeah.
and what's going on with that, because I know that was a shock to a lot of people
Yeah,
to see
you
that
know,
on the news.
there's been an uptick in burglaries, and it's not just Londonderry.
Yeah.
It's a lot of the surrounding communities, and it's largely being driven by the need for drug money.
That's what I was going to say.
You
yeah.
know, we've got such a
We
terrible.
keep hearing about this
well,
opioid.
There is a terrible
problem.
heroin,
Yeah.
epidemic right now all across the state. The politicians have all been talking about it, but what you just have so many folks that are addicted to these drugs, and they need money to support their habits, and
So
they're
they would do
breaking
things
into
that they
homes.
never would have done if they were in
Yeah.
their right minds.
You know, and this intruder, upon realizing that there were kids home at the time, ran out of the house.
Thank God.
Yeah, but it's scary. It's very scary, and you never want to see that kind of stuff in
Yeah.
any community, let alone your own community. But the police have been doing all of their detective work on all of these break-ins.
And somebody has to recognize that man, because the picture was
Yeah.
very clear
Well, and it-
from this home
And it helped too
surveillance.
that they had the home surveillance
yeah.
camera, on their home, and it's unfortunate.
and he
today
obviously
that-
didn't realize it was there.
No, obviously not.
Yeah.
But thank God that it was, so that we have a clear picture of who it is and could identify him pretty quick. But again, it's a multifaceted problem right now. It's not just burglaries or breaking in to steal stuff. It's they're trying to support a habit that they have, and it's going to take state involvement. It's going to take local involvement to try to mitigate this problem. It's a big problem. And like I said, it's not just Londonderry.
No, it's not.
It's a lot of the surrounding communities that are dealing with. Even my where I live in Litchfield, a small sleepy town like Litchfield, we had break-ins, a couple of break-ins in my own neighborhood for the same reasons.
Well, there are a couple of things that people should pay attention to. Don't talk about being gone on your Facebook page. Because I know that they're using that information from social media to determine whether or not it's safe to try and break in there. So just try and be a little cautious yourself so that...
And you know what? Keep a lookout on your neighbor's home when you're home, especially during the day. When you're home during the day,
something's happening over there that doesn't make sense.
If you see people hanging around that you normally don't see, or you see cars driving,
and the police will be grateful for the call.
Absolutely.
They're not going to be upset if it turns out to be no problem.
Don't hesitate at all to call the police on it.
And okay, that just kind of put me into scams, so I have to take the opportunity to say, watch out for the things that are coming to you in your email. There's been a real onslaught lately of special offers that are coming through an email, and they're basically just trying to get your email address and get your information. And the other thing that's happening is those phone calls are happening again about this is the IRS, and you are about to receive a lawsuit. You better call this number right away if you know what's good for you. It's a threat. It's not the IRS. They don't do business
they wouldn't
that
do it
way.
That way.
So just ignore that, hang up on them, don't even talk to them. We do not have to be polite to people who call us in our homes. I don't know why people think that. It's like, no, they're trying to sell you something. You can just hang up. You don't have to go along with it.
Dottie,
so
I see we've got
you got to
couple
go
more,
here.
But
I know we're on a tight schedule here.
But I'll definitely be back, next month to discuss more of these issues that are coming up. And certainly if anybody has items they want me to talk about, or if they have questions about anything, contact you.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm happy to talk about them on air.
Yep.
Contact me too. Because obviously we only know by the feedback that I get what people want to hear about, what they want to know about.
Yeah. And I go grocery shopping in town, so that's how I find out.
And I do too.
Yeah.
In fact, I ran into a woman yesterday at the clock tower buildings who stopped me and said, I see you on TV a lot. So,
I get that sometimes, too, from the stores, So I'm glad you're watching, and I hope that you will submit your questions and let us know what it is that you're interested in finding out. And again, we're as transparent as we think we can possibly be. If it's not coming right out of Kevin's mouth, it's on the website somewhere, you can find this information, and it's not difficult. So I hope that you will tune in again next month, and we will take up some more of the issues that are going on around town and talk about the good stuff, and if there's any bad stuff, who knows. But thank you for joining us today, and thank you, Kevin.
Thank you,
really
Dottie.
appreciate it.
Always a pleasure.